Welcome to Setting the Table, hosted by Robin B., where we bring you the insider's scoop from top restaurateurs, industry experts, and creative minds who know what it takes to stand out and succeed. Hungry for insights on how to fuel your growth and stay ahead of the curve? You've just found your secret ingredient.
Hello, it's Robin B. here. Excited today to bring you Dario Herrera. He's a passionate restaurant owner and operator for Grupo Herrera restaurants. Dario's father, David, along with his brothers Marvin and Ubaldo, are the driving force behind their many restaurants. And so I like to call it a culinary empire, but they're killing it. They currently have 6 concepts and they have 7 locations. Their concepts include Alicia's Mexican Grill, Dario's Steakhouse and Seafood, Marvino's Italian Steakhouse, Galeana's Tex-Mex and Agave Bar, Papito's Pizzeria and Pasta, and then they have a catering arm of Grupo Herrera Catering and Events. They focus on quality. Obviously, they are utilizing recipes that have been tried and tested and are awesome. They're loved in the communities that they have their restaurants. And as a family-owned business, they really have kind of a distinctive way of running their business, and they take a lot of pride in serving their communities. They make everything from scratch. Like, they just do a lot of really great things that help them to succeed. I'm really excited to speak with Dario and share kind of what their family journey has been in building this restaurant kind of legacy, and what's helped them succeed, what they've learned, where their challenges are, and just kind of get some insight from Dario. So welcome, Dario. So happy to have you.
Hi, Robin. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, thanks for being here. I know you're super busy, so I really appreciate you carving out time to spend with me. So,
Of course.
okay, so I figure we'll just start by you talking about your family and talking about the restaurants and everything else. So do you want to give a quick introduction and so forth?
So, we first started our restaurant in 2006. The original one was Alicia's Mexican Grill. So, it's named after my mom, Alicia. So, it was always my parents' dream to have a business of their own. They both immigrated to this country back in the 1980s. They were both young in their early 20s. They always wanted to do something for themselves and for their family. So, they didn't know what that was, but my dad worked in restaurants probably for about 2 decades. That's where he learned about service. That's where he learned about food. And he said, "Here's a chance. Here's an industry that I pretty much worked in the last 20 years. Let me make something out of it." So that's when he decided to open up Alicia's. That's in Cypress, Texas. So after working in the original spot for about 2 years, that's when, he wanted something more. So, there was a lot right next to the strip center where the original Alicia's was at, and he moved Alicia's there into a bigger location, and, that was in '08. And then where Alicia's is at, the original Alicia's is at, we converted that into Dario Steakhouse. So all that happened in a matter of maybe 2.5 to 3 years, and then after that, he said, "I wanna keep growing." So, we opened another Alicia's in, Spring, Texas. Um, a few years after that, we did an Alicia's in the West Chase area in Houston. Then we did Alicia's in Katy. Um, then after that, we only had those 2 concepts. He said, "You know what? I still want more." So, we opened up Marvino's in Cypress. And, the idea there was that there wasn't a good Italian restaurant in Cyprus. So, we said, "Here's a hole, let's fill it." Um, he knew that we had the team to be able to pull it off, so we went with that, and then, a few years after Marvino's, we, opened Galeana's Tex-Mex. Well, actually, originally, it was Galeana's Bakery and Cafe. So, those are the original 4 concepts. Um On top of that, like you mentioned, we have a whole catering department. We have a Papitos Pizzeria and Pasta, which is it's a ghost kitchen that we operate out of Marvino's.
Yeah, that's a lot of restaurants.
It
That's a
is.
lot of good stuff, yeah. And, you know, what I love about all the restaurants and, I love the naming. So, maybe talk about that, like, I
Of
think
course.
it says a lot about the how embedded family is in your concept, so
Yeah, so family is very important. Like I mentioned, Alicia's is named after my mom. I'm the namesake for Dario Steakhouse. Marvino's is named after my older brother Marvin, and then Galeana's is named after my two eldest nieces. So just going back a little bit, we're three brothers. Um, I'm the youngest. Marvin's the oldest. Ubaldo is the middle child. So his two daughters are Gabriela and Daliana. So we put the names together to come up with the Galeanas. And then our ghost kitchen that we have, Papitos, that's actually what all my nieces call my dad. So they all call him Papito and they call my mom Mamita.
I think it's so fun, and I just think it speaks volumes of how entrenched, like, family is in all of your concepts. And your family, everybody's involved, yes?
My mom and my dad, they started this. They were working probably a good 12 to 14 hours a day every day when they first started, maybe even more. Um, and then both of my brothers, they're older than me, so whenever we first opened Alicia's, uh, they were working as waiters, they were bartending, helping in the kitchen, whatever they could. At the time, the first restaurant, I was 11 when we opened that, but as well, I was helping with whatever we could, with whatever I could, whether that was helping out in the kitchen, um, whether that was being a host, being a busboy throughout the years into high school. That's what I did, and we've all been involved. So we've grown up in this, and it's always great working with family. It's always great being with my family. Um, we see each other every single day.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's hard too sometimes, but I think for the most part, I've seen you guys work well together. I mean, you and your brothers grew up in the restaurants. Like, it's just been you've been in the restaurant industry since probably, I mean, you probably can
Pretty much
remember.
my whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now your role, your what is your actual title? Because I know you're doing the predominantly the marketing and you're also obviously helping with certain running of certain of the restaurants. But what kind of is your role now?
Yeah, so I would say that I'm in charge of marketing, right? I work alongside very key people. You're one of them. You help us out with our marketing. You have for many years. We also have Mariela Calloway, which is our social media manager. She's been very helpful. Um, but on top of that, um, I really do a lot of everything. So with it being a family run business, um, I'm going to all the restaurants, right? We have 7 locations. So one day I can be in Cypress, another day I can be in Katy. Um, always work alongside with my father and the chefs to create new menus, create seasonal menus. We're always doing wine dinners, tequila dinners. So always coming up with those menus. We always do features like cocktail features. So I guess one of the other roles that I've kind of taken on is like a beverage director, just something that we don't really have, but it's key, it's necessary, especially having four like sit down restaurant concepts, right? So that includes, we need wine lists for all the restaurants. We need cocktail lists for all the restaurants. Um, we need obviously to change up the menu to stay in season, to stay with the trends, right? It's something that and more and more so nowadays, you always have to keep up with the trends. You always have to try to be different, right? So just doing that, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and you guys do a great job at that. This is one of those things that I think helps you guys be as successful as you are is the fact that you don't just have a menu that you sit on and that's the menu and it's been the menu for years. You're constantly innovating, you're constantly
Yeah, of
updating, and also doing unique events. And
course.
I love some of the events you do. You do tequila tasting. I mean, you maybe talk about some of the events you do, but they give us a reason. And I say us, obviously we've worked together, but it gives you a reason to keep talking to your loyal customers and gives them a reason to bring them back in. And I think that's been pretty successful for you guys. Yes.
Oh yeah, of course. So all the events that we have, um, there's a lot of returning customers, right? They're always asking us, when is your next wine dinner going to be? When is your next tequila dinner? Um, Recently, we've been doing new events like you mentioned, tequila tastings. We've been trying to do more of those. Um, we're actually gonna have a rosé brunch at Marvino's, which is something completely different. We've never done it before, but we're very excited for it. We always used to do wine dinners. I mean, we still do wine dinners, right? But we want to change it up to where instead of it just being like a regular wine dinner, it's something fun. We've done wine dinners where it's like a USA versus Italy, and then we have guests decide which wines they prefer. Did they prefer the USA wines, or they prefer the Italian wines? And with us being in Cypress, or based out of Cypress, we see that the majority of the clientele out here, they like West Coast wines because it's what they're used to. But when you give them something new, when you have them try an Italian wine, maybe a French wine, they're like, "Wow, I didn't know that it could be this good. I was intimidated by it, but now tasting it, next time I come into the restaurant, that's what I want to order." So it's also a way to try to educate our guests as well. Like it's a cool learning experience for everybody. Um, but yeah, we love to do those types of events. The customers love it. Uh, they especially love it when they feel engaged. Um, there's been times where we've brought in like winemakers. We've done whiskey dinners in the past where we actually brought in like master distillers. They talk about their whiskey. Um, it's cool. It's interactive with all the guests. There's been some where um, we'll raffle off tickets, like a trip to Tequila. You get to stay in like an all-inclusive hotel, things like that. So that's very fun for the customers.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it keeps you top of mind, right? Like it's one of those things that ensures that you're always doing something unique so you stay in their consideration set and you give them something new to try, which I think is really important that a lot of restaurants maybe aren't doing.
Of
I
course.
think you also are really good about finding some unique tie-ins. I love the one time you did a whiskey dinner with a cigar maker, and so the cigar
Yeah,
maker was there actually
that
making
was
it.
really fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. So, how big is the team you have of people that are running your business? Like, how many people do you employ?
Yeah, so across 7 locations, it's right around maybe 200 or so employees, I
Wow,
would say. Yeah,
that is
some stores obviously have more than others. Some stores are bigger, like the Alicia's in Cypress. That's the one that employs the most. We probably have a good 50 plus employees there. Whereas
yeah,
our smallest restaurant, Galeana's, probably have about maybe 15 to 20 employees. But I mean, yeah, when you combine all the stores, I would say you're looking right around 200 employees.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And when you think about your operations, like what are and I'm kind of leading into this with employees stuff because I know that for a lot of restaurants, finding and retaining great staff is very difficult. What is y'all's philosophy on that? How do how have you been able to attract good talent, keep good talent? Like, what is sort of what you do?
In today's age, it is hard to retain employees. But one of the things that we do that we love to show our employees is that we want to make them feel like they're part of the family, right? We want to make them feel excited to come to work. Want to make them feel respected when they're at work. So one of the things that we've done in our restaurants throughout the years is that I'd say there's been dozens of employees that we promoted over the years. So that's like from busboy to a server, from a server to bartender, bartender to manager. whatever it is. We like to show our employees that they have that potential to grow within the company, and that's something that we've seen that has motivated people. Um, we've had guys that have come in as a dishwasher. Uh, they get moved to line cook. They learn the ins and outs of the kitchen, and then they become a kitchen manager. We've seen that at several restaurants. We've seen that um, with employees in the front of the house as well, where it's their first job. You know, they'll work as a busboy. They get promoted to waiter. They've been with us for 10 plus years, and now we trust them to be managers at stores. So that is one way that we try to like um, show our employees that we're willing to work with you. We want you to be part of this team. We're happy that you're part of the team, and we want you to stay with us. We know that all of this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for all the hard work that they go through.
Looking back, and I know, obviously when the restaurants were first started, you were younger, but when do you think your family sort of recognized, like, man, we're really good at this and we've kind of made it? Like, when was your big aha moment that this is we're getting, this is getting good, like we've got something really great?
I think for my parents, it was probably when they opened the bigger Alicias. So when we moved from the original Alicias next door to the the freestanding Alicias, um, I think that was an aha moment for them, because they like I mentioned earlier, they both came here as immigrants. Uh, they both had a dream that they wanted to open or start a business for themselves and for the family. With the original Alicia's, we didn't know what was gonna happen, right? We didn't know if it was gonna be a hit or miss. So I think that after working the first 2 years at the original Alicia's, and we saw that huge following that we got out here in Cypress, they wanted us to make a bigger restaurant. So I think for them, that was an aha moment that I was like, we came here, we became successful here, and now we have all these people that want us to grow, want us to keep expanding. So I think that was an aha moment for them. Um, for me, it's actually when I'm out, let's say when I'm out anywhere in public, it can be at another restaurant, could be like at the doctor's office, a grocery store. It could be anywhere where let's say like I strike up a conversation with somebody and I let them know like what I do, all the restaurants that we have. And then um, when I see that excitement in their eyes and they're like, oh, you know what? I've been to that restaurant, or I know exactly the restaurant that you're talking about, or I live right down the road from the Elisa's in Spring. I've been to Marvino's all the time. That's really exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's got to be pretty awesome feeling. And you have received so much positive feedback as far as your concepts and how you execute. Um, what is your main focus when you on your restaurants? Like, what, when you talk to your employees or when you're thinking through, like, what is our unique selling proposition and the thing that we do best?
So, like I mentioned earlier, with our employees, we want to make them feel like they're part of the family. We feel that that motivates them. With our guests as well, when they come into the restaurant, we want them to feel as if they're at home, as if they're part of the family. So, I think that's very important. Um, we want to make it a focus that when you come into our restaurant, you're gonna receive exceptional service. We're only gonna serve high quality ingredients. We want you to feel that when you come into the restaurant, that you're welcome, that it's clean, that it's nice. We want you to be happy choosing to come dine with us. So having that mindset, um, letting all our staff know that that's what we want you to show our guests. We want y'all to have that same mindset as well. I feel that it's very important, and it keeps customers wanting to come back when they can feel that. When they go to the restaurant and you have a waiter that's happy to be there, that's smiling, that seems like they enjoy their job. All that energy transmits over to the guests. So That's very important for us.
So you're reinforcing that awesome experience in everything you're telling your employees and how you're cooking your food and how you're keeping your restaurant. All of those things are really oriented around that experience.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. So then, I think we kind of touched on this, but what is your biggest challenge right now? Like, what are I know there's a lot of challenges happening for restaurants, particularly like there's changes in technology, there's increasing pricing, there's getting the right staff and keeping the right staff. What is kind of the areas that you are facing right now and how are you sort of tackling those things?
Yeah, like you just said right now, definitely employees is always challenging. Um, it's one of those things that I think just in this industry, um, sometimes when employees apply at a restaurant, they don't see it as like a long-term job. They see it as like, they're just passing by. But that comes back to where I was mentioning earlier that we want our employees to be happy to come to work. We want them to feel that, they're part of the team, that we're here to work with them. But, it is a big challenge. Um, Also, just in the way that the world is right now, prices of a lot of things are going up. So, not just food, but I mean, that's also on wine, on spirits, even on just, like, simple things like tablecloths in the table, linen, um, you know, china, silverware. The price of everything is going up. So, that is one of the biggest challenges when, unfortunately, we do have to raise prices, but we don't wanna do it to where, we're scaring the guests as well. So, it has to be it has to be very strategic in the way that we do it. Um, but it is one of those things that we know that this is the way the world is now, and we have to evolve to it.
Yeah, it's something everyone's kind of having to face and figure out where that threshold is of value and making sure those things are in a good place so that they don't lose customers, but still can take the
Right.
price increases they have to. Yeah. So, obviously one of the things that every restaurant has to work on and continuously do is marketing and attract new customers. And I think as important, if not more, is keep the customers you have coming back and try to increase their frequency, right?
Of course.
So what kind of marketing do you feel like, what have you done and you feel like has moved the needle best for you?
So for us, one of the biggest things that we focus on is having a good loyalty program. So it's a way to retain customers. It's a way to reach out to them. When customers come to the restaurant, we always let them know about the loyalty program if they're a part of it, how to sign up. It's a way to also keep them engaged and excited whenever we have new events. Let's say like the tequila dinners that we were talking about. That's a way that we can push that out on a big marketing type of campaign to let them know about it. Of course, any new feature that we're running for the month, any new seasonal menu that we might be doing. It's a way to keep them engaged as well. Um,
And you're using predominantly for your loyalty program and database, you're using email, right?
yeah,
Yes.
we are. Um, I'd say one other big thing is having a very nice, attractive website, and we'd like to thank you for that, for building our websites.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, it's a good way to where whenever there's somebody that is finding you for the first time, if they go to your website and they see that it's very well done, it's organized, it's clean, it looks good, that can bring them into the restaurant, So I think that's a very big part of it. And then I'll be honest, I think that word of mouth is always great, when customers come into the restaurant, they try for the first time, they're new to the area, they'll tell their friends. If there's a buzz about something, a new feature that we might be doing, they'll go and they'll tell all their friends in the neighborhood, and we feel that that's worked as well. So, it's the old school way of marketing, but it's something that's always worked.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
important to have a good reputation and have people vouch for you. I mean, that's also where some of the ratings and, where you have to do reputation management, that also is sort of a word of mouth too. And I know that
of
you
course.
put a good amount of effort into asking people to give reviews, making sure you're keeping up on those and answering them and so forth. So, how has technology changed how you're running your business and how you're marketing your business? Like what tools have made the biggest impact? Like what has changed with such major technological, I mean, there's been a lot of
Oh
technical
yeah, for sure.
recently. So and I say recently, since I would say really ramped up with COVID because, prior to COVID people could get by without online ordering and doing some of those things. Now I really don't, I think those are just, you have to do those. Those are just part of being able
Yeah.
to run a restaurant.
For sure. Since COVID, the online ordering has definitely gone up a lot. Um, yeah, it's one of those things where, now it's so easy where you can go to our website, you can order online, you'll have someone come pick it up and deliver it to your house, right? Or if you want to come into the restaurant and pick it up yourself, there's that option as well. But uh, partnering with third parties, obviously like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, that's very important because there's a lot of people that, they want to order food, but when you're on all these platforms, it's a lot easier for them to find you if they haven't found you before. So, I think that's very important to be on all those platforms. Um, Inside the restaurant, we just upgraded all our restaurants to Toast POS. One of the main reasons for that was because we felt that the technology is better than what we were using. So it's very easy now for the staff, for the servers, because we have handhelds at the restaurants, right? So when they're at the table, they can put in the order directly into the handheld that automatically gets sent to the kitchen. So it's a lot more efficient. It's a lot faster, right? Than before, you would write the order down, you'd go to the computer, you'd put it in. There could be some mistakes in that as well. Like, oh, she told like, the customer told me this, but I completely forgot what she said. Now I have to go all the way back and ask her again, whereas right there, you're in the moment, you're putting in the order, so it's a lot more efficient that way. Um, Also now with all the new technology, we can charge at the table, on the same handhelds, they can put in all their information, their emails, sign up for the loyalty program, so that's very easy, and that's very good for us. Um, but I mean, yeah, there's so much that has been helpful in terms of technology. Social media is a big part. We feel that now, um, it's important to have as much content as you can. So, we're always taking pictures. Every day we're taking videos, because we know that with everybody being online, um, people eat with their eyes, right? So if you have something that looks very appealing, you blast that online. It's a way for people to want to try you when they see something that they might have never seen before. You take a fantastic shot with a great angle and good lighting. It makes that plate look it makes it look very good, right? So, yeah, we feel that's very important.
I totally agree, as you know. And what you guys do well too is I mean, there's organic posting, which is important, but you also invest in digital advertising, which then expands out the reach of those great images and videos and make sure that it reaches beyond those people who are just following you now to get to those new customers, those new acquisitions to drive your awareness broadly. Um, and I think you guys have been super smart about doing that consistently over the last 5+ years at least. I mean, we've been doing a
Yeah,
lot of marketing. So yeah.
of
So
course.
if you were giving advice to a new restaurant just getting started, what would you what would you tell them?
Yeah, this is something that my dad has always told me from day one, is that if you want to make it in the restaurant industry, it's something that you need to have a passion for, something that you need to love to do, and it's very important. And I'm sure this is true with any industry that you go in, is to really learn the ins and outs of that industry. You know, in the restaurant industry, it's from the kitchen to the front of the house. Um, Obviously, different techniques when it comes to cooking, mixology when it comes to the bar. All those things really play in to the restaurant. So I would say that if you really want to start a restaurant, have that passion for it, you know, make sure that you learn everything that you possibly can about the restaurant. And I think if you tie your knowledge with passion, you can be very successful.
All right. So, one final question about your restaurant. Where do you guys see yourself going in the next 5 years or beyond? What is the future for Grupo Herrera restaurants
Sure.
look like? Yeah.
So in the next 5 years, we plan to have opened at least 3 or 4 more restaurants. Right now, the biggest project that we have going on is a development in Magnolia. Um, we have about 20 acres of commercial land out there with the idea to develop all that land. We'll take one of our restaurants first. We'll probably do Alicia's as the anchor to that new development, and then we'll develop all that land, which is something that we've never done before. You know, we've just focused on restaurants, but this will be a brand new project where we want to develop like a very nice strip center, like a plaza, like something where it's a destination where people do want to go, right? So a place where you'll obviously have your restaurants, um, but then you might also have, like your ice cream shop. You might have um, like a gym, you might have like your nail studio, different things like that, right? So, we're very excited for that. But besides that, we also have the idea to open a new Galeanas at some point in the future. So it's something that we've just been looking into. So we're not entirely sure where yet, but we do know that people love that concept, and we definitely want to bring that out to other parts of the city, right? So we have that. We do want to do another Dario's as well. So we might take that to the development of Magnolia. That's kind of the idea. And there's also another uh, piece of land that we have out by Conroe in the little town of Cut and Shoot. So we plan to develop that probably within the next maybe 3 to 4 years. Yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of work up ahead, but we love to do this, so it's very exciting.
I just want to thank you for taking time to, talk to me about your restaurant group and just the things that you do to be so successful. So, thanks a lot, Dario.
Thank you, Robin. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, everybody, if you enjoyed this, please make sure to subscribe. And we'll be providing more, I guess, important restaurant success tips in the future. And hopefully being able to interview also additional restaurateurs that are super successful, like the Grupo Herrera restaurant group. So thank you.